what's up, y'all? This is Mind Your Business. This is the Thursday. You know what I'm saying? So this is my first Thursday I ever had. It's always every Sunday at 5 p.m. Now it's on Thursday at 6 p.m. I'm trying to figure out a day I can do it within midweek. And so I can maybe get twice in a week. So, it's the first one. So y'all go ahead and roll with your boy. I'm over here working and doing all this stuff, bouncing all around and
Making
doing
it
everything.
happen.
Exactly. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So first, before we get into it, I want to shout out my sponsors. I want to shout out Paradiso Vacay, the timeshare sponsor that I have. They supply me with equipment and different things I have going on and advice of everything I can do within the show. I greatly appreciate y'all for doing everything you've done for me up to this point. And then also I want to shout out Aventino Watches. They supply me with watches. They're out in Paris, France. If you ever want to get a watch or anything like that, look fresh, be dapper down for your lady, or gone on a date night, those are watches you can get. Hey, bam, bam, mind your business on the watch. Bam, thank you, Aventino, for that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We got Tiara tonight. She is she is a peaceful person, first and foremost. We can say off the rip. Yoga instructor, wellness coach, and then maybe anything more important, that she's also a military vet as well. She can go into deeper in detail about anything anything else she has going on within all of those aspects as well. But if there's anything I missed out on, you please let them know, and just let them know a little bit about yourself and get it rolling.
Well, you said I'm Tiara Renee. I'm 23, and like we covered, I'm working out of Arkansas right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a yoga teacher and a holistic wellness coach, and I chose this path just off my own journey and going through my own steps, and I just fell in love with everything I was learning, everything I was doing, and now I've just made it my everyday life. And eventually it was like, why not share this with people? Like, if I, turned everything around for me, this is amazing. And all it is just taking care of myself. That's literally all it is. And now I share it with others, and they're able to do it too, which is just an amazing feeling and an amazing thing to do. So
Hey,
that's the basics of it. Yeah.
hey, love
My own journey got me here.
Yeah, exactly. And I respect that, because I've never actually physically met you. So it's like, this is the first time I'm actually kind of like meeting you. It's through like the live and through the live stream, which is like really cool because, like we're going to have a lot of things to talk about within the conversation that we're having as well. So, you said that you do the holistic everything and the wellness coach, like what, like kind of, let's just go into it. Like what, like
dive into
you?
it.
Yeah, let's go straight head on, boom. What is like what like inspired you to do that? Because we have little text conversations here and there, just kind of like brazing over the topic. But let people know like what inspired you to get into this, and like what can you do to kind of inspire other people to want to do the same thing as well.
Got it. Basically, I got out of the military and everything was good for a little while, but then I went through a path where I got from being, like 130 to almost 200 pounds, bad skin, and not even just physical things. My mental health wasn't there. I was doing things like I had to work 2 jobs just to maintain, and things just got really difficult in every area of my life.
Yeah.
And then, I started working out. I hit the physical. I cleared my skin. I lost all the weight. Things still weren't right. So I'm like, okay, what now? Like, I thought it was just a weight thing. I thought it was this. I thought it was the 2 jobs. Like, I was figuring out everything, crossing off goals, but mentally I still was not there. And I'm like, okay. So I sat down with myself and kind of figured out, like, it's like the holistic thing. Every part of my being deserved acknowledgement. And I was doing things to make the physical right, the finances right. But mentally, I wasn't making anything right. I wasn't making time for my self-care and just like setting boundaries. I wasn't doing any of that. So that's where the holistic came from, and being a holistic wellness coach, because it teaches you not to focus on one issue, but to focus on your entire being, because all of it deserves acknowledgement, like every single part. And then without that, even if everything looks good, there's going to be some, unbalance somewhere. Like, things aren't going to be completely balanced for you. So, but when you focus on everything, you can do your best in every area. And when to rest in those areas too, if that makes sense.
So yeah, no, I get that.
Just balance.
I feel like I need to know when to rest. It's like I don't ever rest ever. I feel like
I had to teach myself that.
Yeah, I'm a vampire. So it's like, what I'm saying? What it is, I'm
yeah, you're just going and you're up
yeah.
all night.
So like my thing is like, so like, I kind of want to piggyback off of what you just said, because that's crucial, to be able to look at your whole life and a whole aspect, and to understand that it's not just, well, you know, if I have a whole bunch of money, I'm not, everything's not all of a sudden just going to be right. Or I'm going to have a whole, like, you eat
Exactly.
right. It's not all just going to be right because of that. Like, kind of go a little bit deeper into that to let people know, like, how to, what steps can they take to make their life holistic, I guess you can say.
You can, well, what worked for me was just starting off with like even like basic list things, like listing out what your life, what you want your life to look like, what you want to feel like, what you want things to be like, and then write out what you're doing every day, what you feel like every day, and what you're looking like every day right now, and compare, see what adds up, and see what's missing, and see what you can do to make the list on the left look more like the list on the right, and
Mm,
go from there and just slowly start adding on. I'm not about just changing things overnight. It doesn't work like that. But if you slowly start moving in the right direction, one day you're gonna look up and be like, dang, I did that. Okay. And you're right in the middle of everything you wanted to be in the middle of. Your feelings are changed, your mood is changed, your circumstances. So just
right.
taking the time to evaluate it and really look at the whole picture can take you far.
Hey, that's big. That's big to me. I definitely need to know that too. Like, cause I personally, because it's like I said, I'm always running and gunning. I do like 20 million different things, so it's just like that's just like my
Exactly.
personality.
Well,
But
and a
I,
lot of us do that.
yeah, I know. I talked to a guy that was very like spiritual and like, you know, laid back, and he was saying, he's like, the hardest thing for us to have to do is just to sit down and to be still. He's like,
Yes, it
that's
is.
the hardest thing for us to have to do. He's like, once you kind of master that, you kind of figure out everything else like within that as well.
And you can see everything better because, like, even if we're sitting down, we might have our phone. The TV might be on. Like, when do we really just take the time to sit with ourselves, our mind, and our body? Nothing else.
I know.
Like, there's always some type of stimulation, whether it's that TV, the phone, people in the background running around the house. Just focusing on you, though, can do wonders. Like, you can answer questions that you think you just can't figure out. It'll come to you.
Yeah,
So,
it's so crazy. This is because like I had to hit him with a chuckle. Like I remember I was around and I was saying to myself, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? You know, like I'm looking at my life, every aspect of what I've done up to this point, right? You know, and obviously you look at yourself and you kind of, I don't know how people grade themselves, but I almost grade myself like on a 3 month scale. And I'm like, all right, so like, what am I doing here to get better at this? Or what am I doing here to get better at that? But I literally had to look at myself in the mirror figuratively and like lay down and like think about what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I heard this guy say, he said, if you ask yourself that question and you're not going to like the answer. You know what I mean? You just got to understand you're
hmm
not going to like the answer because it's not what you want to hear. But once you kind of look at that answer, you answer that and then you meditate on that. And then you kind of go from that point to fixing that issue that you have. And then you're taking that necessary step to get to that next level. So, you know,
exactly.
yeah. So, like what you're saying, like, you know, it's kind of same thing verbatim, just in a different way. But yeah, I definitely get that. Like, I love that. Like, that's definitely dope.
It'll take you far.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Just
Hey, I'm trying to
learn yourself.
goes. I'm trying to get far, you know. I'm trying to,
Right.
so let's kind of go into your business aspect of what you do, and you know everything that you have going on. Like, how long have you been in the business, and you know, kind of break down what you do within your business as well.
Okay. I've been in the business for about a year now. I studied for about a year to get all my certifications, and then I've been working for about a year. And then when I was studying, I was doing like free things and just to practice and to get a feel for what I was doing and internships and things like that. So basically 2 years, but like actually doing my own business for about a year. And with it, my whole thing is giving people what I didn't have when I first started. When I first started, it was difficult for me to walk into a yoga class and be like, hi, I'm about to do this. It was weird for me because I overthought it.
Yeah.
And doing what I do now, I realize a lot of people feel that way. Going to the gym, about stepping into a yoga studio because you don't know, it's uncomfortable, or you're so in your head, or just whatever it is that's holding you back from just jumping into it. But having that one person that's just your go-to for it all, instead of having to figure it out by yourself, show up by yourself, do it all by yourself, does wonders. And so I want to be that for other people because I wanted that so bad when I was doing it. And then I didn't get it until I was, interning and in yoga school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did everything up until that point by myself, which I did it. It was great, but it would have been nice to have somebody there, like, I could buzz off of and get feedback from, and just, you know, a little motivation, because motivation is not always there. You know, you can have the discipline and dedication that makes you do it, but the motivation can dwindle.
Yeah.
And having that person to just kind of like have that quick conversation with, and then, you know, motivation come back that quick just from some words. So I wanted to be that, and so I've become that. And like I said before, I fell in love with the lifestyle of doing this for myself every day. So if I'm doing it anyway, why not share it?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Be-
So
and the thing is, like, within what you're is definitely great. So, like, did you have like a mentor? I guess because you kind of like mentioned that a little bit subtly with everything you had going on. Did you have like a mentor that kind of guided you, or was it something like that you kind of just were self motivated to do it, and then, like you said, the motivation comes here and there. You feel like you work the hardest whenever you're not motivated, and that's when you
hmm
greatness. That's when the greatness really comes out. But like, did you have a mentor that helped you guide you through this process to get to this point?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Until I was literally at the end of my yoga schooling, and I met a woman, a great woman. Her name is Tori,
Mm-hmm.
Eden Salt Studio in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I met her, and I worked with her for a couple, I think about 3 weeks actually, and that was it as far as having like a hands-on intern.
Mm-hmm.
But just reading articles, watching videos, things like that, I had my own. They didn't know that they were my mentors, of course, but different people that I
Yeah.
follow, they were my mentors. So they might have not have known, but I was watching, I was reading, and, you know, just taking things in that way, if that makes sense. Or just had like my favorite yoga teachers that I was watching and doing their classes. In a way, they were my mentors. So same thing with the wellness coaches.
Hey, that's what's up, CC. Like, I mean, I'm glad I'm doing this interview because I've never like done with a yoga. So yeah, it's definitely different to me.
Oh.
I'm definitely hearing all these different things, hearing the peace side, you know what I'm saying? Pieces of
Mhm.
A Town. I'm saying, like, here, it's definitely different. So like,
Glad to hear it.
yeah, so like as you're going through this business, like, how did you, like, I mean, I don't know how much it costs to do it or how much it costs to go through the whole process, but like, how did you raise
Mhm.
funding? Was it something that you had in your own pocketbook, or was it not too expensive, or was it something that you had to get like an investor for? Like, how'd you raise the funding to like keep pushing your business to keep going along to this point?
I had been following them for about 3 years, the
Mm-hmm.
particular people that I went through for my schooling. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got all the emails, even though I wasn't able, because it's actually usually it was about $1,200. Sometimes it would be like 15.
Yeah.
And I don't know what changed on their end, but eventually I think it was around Christmas time a couple years ago, or right before New Year's, they sent the email out that they were doing payment plans, and then they had cut the price by half. Like if you did it within a certain time, you could get it for 50%, and then you could do a payment plan. I jumped on it.
Oh,
And
you are.
jumped on
Yes.
it. I swear, I wasted
Yeah.
no time, and I saved and just did what I had to do to make sure I paid that every month. And then eventually that led to me quitting my job and just doing the straight schooling and just doing that for a little while. So yeah, that's how I got that. And it's Yoga Renew teacher training. I think they still do the payment plans now. So when they started that, that was it for me.
I'm not mad
Yep.
at that. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the payment
hmm
plan. You know what I'm saying? Put it on layaway. Make sure it comes back.
Right, I would do it. I was not passing that up, because usually it's like two payments, but the whole thing is $1,200. So I need to pay
Yeah.
600. Nah.
Yeah.
But $90 a month for some months, I could do that. In the position that I was in, and
Yeah.
then where I was at the time, like that worked for me, and I was not missing out. And
Hey.
they still do it now, so it's amazing. Like anybody can, you get your teacher training and pay it off, which is incredible because it can be really expensive, just
Hey.
depending.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the cost on that. I'm just glad that you know what I'm saying? That's all.
Right.
So like, so,
So,
like, to kind of dive deeper in sort of the business, how'd you even come up with the name of your business, and like the name, and like, with, I don't know if you have a logo and all that stuff, but like the actual name for it, like how'd you come up with the name in that aspect?
um, I write as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a piece that was just like masterpiece X masterpiece, which is
Mm-hmm.
like I am a masterpiece, learning to masterpiece. So it came from that, and I live by that ever since I wrote it. It just kind of clicked something in me, like that's my thing. I'm
Yeah.
a masterpiece, mastering peace. So that came Masterpiece Studios. So
I like.
we're all masterpieces, mastering peace. Like no matter where you're at, what you got going, what you feel like you don't have, you're a masterpiece. And once you masterpiece, you'll have everything you need. So I just live by it.
Hey, I like
That's that.
like
Masterpiece
where you might
Studio.
not be under and don't even tell nobody. That might put that.
Masterpiece, yes.
I
So,
like I like that. So like
thank
so
you.
as you were going through this process, no doubt, as you're going through this, like, so what is like the biggest challenge you had to overcome, like at the beginning of what you were doing? You know what I'm saying? Because like everybody, we're all doing things, we're all making moves, maneuvers, this and that. And, you know, we all have our challenges. What's the biggest challenge you had to overcome at the beginning of you starting this whole business? Was it yourself? Was it like, you know, was it finance? I mean, what was it?
Both finances and myself. So, like I said, I quit my job so that I could just dive straight into this. Because once I got the schooling, which is what I kept telling myself, and like I said, I followed them for years, waiting on the price to change or something. And when it did, I quit my job. I had an assistant manager job, so the pay was decent. Um, I quit, so I had
Yeah,
no extra income for a little while. I think about 6 months, just no extra income. So things got really tight. Things got really stressful. And then on top of that, when you step, at least for me, when I stepped into holistic wellness yoga, I had to unlearn a lot that was normal for me. That was my regular, not day to day, but just my regular um, clicks that I go to, or things that, just normal to me. I had to unlearn a lot of that. So, that's working with your brain and stuff. You're teaching yourself,
yeah,
rewiring yourself to function differently, or to like your automatic, that's what I was trying to say before, your automatic reactions to certain things to be different. I had to do that. And that in itself was probably the biggest challenge, just unlearning things and having myself have different automatic responses that now come natural, rather than having to sit there and like actively think and be like, okay, no, we're changing. Now it comes natural, if that makes sense.
yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
oh, trust me, I
Yeah.
understand. You gotta, I mean, you gotta unlearn things. You have to almost like, I wouldn't always say adapt to your environment, because that's a certain that's a certain aspect of life. But like you have to unlearn things, and you have to look at things in a different light and understand that
Yes.
maybe something that you thought was this wasn't really this. It was more so that. You know, I mean, I get exactly
Hmm.
that. I
And
mean,
as you step into new things, that's the thing. As you step into new things, like you change as a person anyway.
yeah,
So you have to get to know that new person, and getting to know that new person, sometimes your old habits, old ways, old circles that don't fit with this new person. So it just I had to unlearn some things and
hey,
go from there.
I've been trying to unlearn some things for a long time, so I already
See?
know. I already know. So like, so you know, we're kind of still kind of staying on the company and everything you have going on. So like, what motivates you to keep pushing and to keep making these things happen, and to keep, you know, believing that your ideals, you can pass your ideals on to other people, and that, you know, they'll be able to adapt to that particular mindset for them to get to that point as well.
Honestly, myself, my own body, my own mind, and doing
Yeah.
it for me. To me, it's not really about getting someone else to adapt or want to do it. It's just the simple fact that I share. And if it resonates, so be it, because I know what it's done for me. So I know what it can do for others, if that makes sense. So that's my motivation, just keeping myself, I see every day the benefits it has on my body and my mind. So
Yeah.
keeping at it for myself motivates me, and keeping that feeling, that peace that comes with this. That's
That,
it.
see,
And just if I can share it, yeah, I love to, because I love to see it actually make a difference for somebody else, because I've seen it do that, and like I said, every single day I get to see what it does for me, and I know where I've been and where I was, and this beats any of that. So
yeah,
I'm gonna hold on to it.
yeah, I can agree with that. You know, like you just said, like, you know, the benefit of what you got going on, like it can push past, like you said, like for me, like when I think about life and how I can inspire people, you know, and tell people things, or whatever it is, you know, like whatever is my show or my music or whatever. When I talk to people, I'm just like, you got to talk to the people that are willing to listen, you know? So like,
Hmm.
not necessarily willing to listen or willing to gravitate towards the idea, then I'm almost wasting my breath talking to you and speaking about what I have going on, because you're just going to reject it regardless, you know?
Exactly. Just because they're not not ready might not be the right wording, but they're just not receptive to it yet. Because I've been in places where people have told me something that I know and completely agree with now and where I'm at now, but before I was like, I ain't trying, I'm not ready for that information. So it didn't take. And now I get older and I'm like, you know what? Somebody told me this a few years ago. And here I am now and I'm like, oh, they were right. I should have listened. But it wasn't my time to listen. I had to do it myself. So
Yeah.
it just, we're all on our own journey. So
Life's a maturation process, and like the maturation,
yep.
no matter what it is and no matter what you have going on, so you just got to
Mm-hmm.
push it and keep going along to get to that point, so like how like so how do you balance everything, how do you balance, because I see you posting videos, doing the yoga stuff, doing backflips and cartwheels, doing all this crazy, you know
No.
how do you like balance the lifestyle of like doing that and then having the family and then having the work life and doing all that stuff? And we're gonna get into your guinea pigs too, because I saw that.
Oh yeah,
I'm a person, so like I'm down with that. But like, how do you balance all that stuff, like from doing everything else we talked about? Because you said like you learn yourself and then you balance, you get a little balance, it's almost like octopus arms, and you can keep doing what you have to do. But like, how do you balance all of that? How do you balance all this stuff?
At first I didn't know how, but boundaries, learning just to, I show up where and when I can, and that's it. I give where and when I can, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
I know now when to take time to rest and recharge for myself. And without that, there would be no balance. I wouldn't be able to do it all because I'm giving in every area at the same time. Now I'm burnt out. So I just have to, I had to realize where I can give at a certain time and where I can't, and just go from there. Like I might not have family time this day, but I'll make
Mhm.
sure I make up for that this day. And, just creating the balance that way instead of giving every chance that I see that I can. I can't do that. I'm human. I can't. There's no way. So I give where and when I can, and that's it. And once I broke it down and made it that simple in my mind, because I had a problem with people pleasing bad before I got boundaries.
Yeah.
So once I figured that out, it was amazing, and it worked for me and everybody around me. So I just had to find my boundaries first, and that created the balance.
Hey, that's to me, like,
So
I wouldn't sound like a people pleaser because I'm definitely not. But I do have a show where I interview people, so like sometimes I feel like I'm just like exhausted, just to the umph degree. Talking to people, doing all this stuff.
because that's your energy and you're giving it. So
Yeah, I'm going on.
yeah,
So I'm going.
exactly. I get it.
So yeah,
It take a toll.
kind of just manifest you there. So it's like, but yeah, there's some balance I have to gather within my life. So like you help within you saying that helped me, and I hope that helps everybody else whenever I repost this and put this on my YouTube. I can understand exactly where we're kind of going with that, because that's
important.
yeah, it's a very important, because it's like your own sanity and like I mean everything.
Yeah. So
Let me see. All right, we got a few more minutes, because actually let's talk about the guinea pigs real quick before we get to the conversation, because every time I see those guinea pigs you had, I think of Dr. Dolittle, and like that's one of my favorites, and like that's when I first thought
it's a classic. But
big names and how they living, like how they balancing out.
First off, they're spoiled. They are spoiled. Their names are Sanji and Spooky. They were pre-named. My little cousins. I went to Houston for Christmas and just the holidays, and their guinea pig had babies, but she had just had a baby like 2 months before the 3 babies. So my aunt, that's the kid's mom. There, she's like, okay, I have a family of guinea pigs now. Like she's had kids, so she was, giving them out for Christmas, and they wanted me to take 2 so that they could still, know what's going on with them. And I'm like, okay, because when I interacted with them, they're the coolest little things ever. Like they're fun, and they actually run around and do their own thing. It's kind of fun to deal with. So yeah, and they're spoiled and they eat a lot. But yeah, that's the guinea pig, Sanji and Spooky.
What do they eat? Do you have to put them in like a cage or put them in the glass case or whatever to like, or can they run around the house and do whatever they want to do?
A little bit of both. Now they're still super tiny, so they can't just run around without me. Well, either way, they can't run around without me watching them. But I let them get out because it's good for them. But they're vegan and lactose intolerant, so
what?
they eat like
yes. How did you find that out? How did you find that?
The kids told me, because I had to ask the same thing. Well, what do I feed them? Pellets, and they can eat like pellets, and they eat hay too. but
Yeah.
they're vegan and they're lactose intolerant. And the kids said that they made the mistake of giving theirs some dairy before, and just they told me don't do it. Yeah, so they're vegan and lettuce, carrots, celery. Well, they don't really care for the celery, but lettuce, carrots, like strawberries, things like that. They eat it up.
That's so
So
funny. I don't even know. I think about that sometimes. Like, how'd you find out that they were lactose?
I guess you try it and you see what happens.
That's funny. So, like, like I always tell people, like whenever we're in the interview, we got about 2 or 3 questions left, and we can kind of
Okay.
there because you told me about the time limit and everything going on. So, like,
Yeah, we should be good with 3. So.
and yeah, before I get a deeper question, like, what is like within your business and everything that you're doing? Like, what is the most satisfying moment you had, and the most unsatisfying moment you had?
Um, Unsatisfying is gonna be hard, but I
Yeah.
think I have one. The most satisfying moment probably is after every single class with yoga. After we namaste out and you get that like, "Ooh, that was great" from a student. That is just amazing to me. Or with the wellness coaching, when I'm talking to somebody, we've been working for a month and then
Hmm.
they're actually getting the results they were looking for. That's the best feeling. Like
Yeah.
for you to be getting exactly why I'm doing this, it's happening. I'm seeing it. That's the best feeling ever. So I don't really have one satisfying moment, but anytime that happens, best satisfaction complete.
Yeah.
And then for unsatisfactory moments, I think it's like technical difficulties since I've started the whole virtual thing. I'm still learning how to work all this stuff. And sometimes, I'll be like, it's time to get on for a class, and I call myself, checking my camera, checking my mic, and then we go to connect.
Hmm.
And now we spent the first 20 minutes trying to connect.
No,
And
man.
I get so worried about that. Or like it's the first time client and that happens. It's
Yeah.
like, first impression. So I kind of have like a mini freak out a little bit. But after the session, of course, usually always fine. But that has to be my most unsatisfactory, you know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say, moment because, sorry, it's live.
I know, no, you're about the law, but
But yeah. um that when that happens, because I just feel like it takes away, or with first time clients, I don't want them to feel like I'm organized or just like go left with their thinking in that aspect because like we couldn't connect or something like that, because I promise you it's not my fault.
Yeah.
But that's the worst to me when that happens. I'm just like because then it throws off my energy a little bit, because I'm nervous, so
No,
because I made you wait, or yeah, whatever. So
that's kind of how it was tonight when I was trying to add.
oh yeah, it wouldn't
What's going
connect.
on? I was like, why is it not letting her add her? Like, I'm about to. I mean, see, like, I don't really get nervous. I get angry. I'm just like, hey, like,
Yeah, frustration.
let's fix this right now. I don't have time to do all this stuff right now. So, because I've had it happen before.
Right.
They didn't have their Facebook app updated on a previous interview, and it was just like I couldn't get them in. I had to do it through my laptop, and I had to Howard Stern them in. Like I had to do a phone call with them instead of doing it like live like this. So trust me,
Oh yeah, so I can
I'm
imagine.
I'm very like bullish. Like I'll push my way through to make it happen. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you're gonna make it
So
happen. I'm the same way. Like now you're gonna get an email, and now I'm gonna record it and just email it to you since we couldn't do the live. Yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
figure it out. But
It's a headache within itself. So I already know.
definitely.
So
So
here's the last 2 questions. I told you the last question. We already talked about that. Hope you
that's
thought about
true.
that. You
I
mentioned
did.
that thing. But right now, I ask you this one. So like knowing what you know now with everything that you've been doing within your business and the aspect of everything that you're doing, what would you have done differently knowing what you know now?
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Sorry. Um. Honestly, I might have just held off on quitting a job so soon
Mhm.
and spending the beginning of my business struggling the way I did, because the struggle mentally set me back, because I felt like maybe I can't do this. I mean, I got past it obviously, but having myself go through that mindset wasn't worth it. Like I could have just held off a little longer and then went through it with a little less stress, because I put so much pressure on myself in the beginning, which made me feel like, okay, maybe this business won't happen, because I just filled my plate up way too fast in the beginning. Like I jumped in head first, which is fine and all,
Hmm.
but your plan needs to be like compact. I think when you jump into something head first like that, just plan it out a little better. I guess would be what I would have did better. Even if I did still quit the job, I would have planned better, so that quitting a job would have just had me like at first, or
Hmm.
after a few months. So
And that's true, because like I talk to people, and I've talked to people that, like, they want to like quit their job and go all in with their business. I'm like, hey, that's fine. I said, but you just have to
totally fine. I agree.
know what you're getting into when you do it. I said, I'm
Hmm.
telling you, telling you, it's fine to do whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm all about going all the way in, doing all the
Me
stuff,
too.
but it's like if you don't have like a pre-plan or have your bills paid like 6 7 months in advance, it's like I'm a very what's it, calculated risk person. I'll take my risk, but I need to be calculated too as well. I can't.
Exactly. And even if you don't, you got the plan and you still want to do it, I just say at least know the fact that you're going to make sacrifices and be willing to make those sacrifices so that you're not surprised when those sacrifices come. That's it. Like, say it, just be willing and ready for sacrifices when you do something like that. So you're not surprised and like, what is this? When it
Exactly.
does come.
Hold on now. I didn't know all this. I didn't know.
Right. Like, this is a lot. Wait, what did I get? Don't leave room to surprise yourself like that. Like, it's all cool to jump into something head first. By all means, do that.
Yeah.
It takes you far sometimes. But just realize every aspect of what you're jumping into before you jump.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. Just make sure you know what's going on before you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes. Save yourself the extra stress and worry and doubt that you might cause yourself if you don't. Just know what
yeah,
you're doing.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
this is the last question. This is the one question I feel greatly about, because it makes me feel I know the person, and it makes me feel like the audience can also know the person as well, with everything they have going on internally, externally, and just their mindset on how they feel about things. So we're just gonna go right into it. How do you define success?
Okay. Success to me is a mindset. For me personally, I feel like as long as I have everything I need, or at least the knowledge and the will do to get what I need and to make it happen, I'm successful. If I can manage all my situations and be clear headed through it all and not reactive, I'm successful. It's all about mind to me and where I'm at mentally and what I can handle mentally. And as long as I can handle anything, or like I said, have the knowledge to make it happen and fix whatever, as long as I have those two things, I'm good and I'm content. I'm successful. Like, that's success to me.
Hey, I like that.
My contentment.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that question, because everybody's had a different answer all the way up to this point. This is my 12th episode of the show, and everybody has a different like way to put it, or a different way to say it, or whole different mindset aspect of it. And I definitely love it, because it's cool to me, and it's cool for the people to see, to understand your brand, to understand where you're going,
Hmm.
everything they want to support with. So, before we
I agree.
like, do you have, you can shout out your social medias, your website, just anything you have going on up to this point too as well. Go ahead and shout that out, and we can go ahead and close out the show.
Okay, my Instagrams are Yogi Tierra Renee and Work of Heart by T. So work of art, but work of heart by T. And currently, right now, I'm doing virtual classes every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Power Yoga. So you can tune in for that. The booking is in all my bios on both of my pages, and then Facebook, of course, is Tierra Renee. And YouTube is Tierra Renee as well. I post workouts, yoga is coming soon, recipes coming soon. So all of that will be there. That's it right now. So thank you.
Hey, much.
And
Okay, so like I always tell everybody before I end it, I said, if you don't remember anything she said, I said, always remember, mind your business. Peace.